Fine, I'll go it alone, just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
It's so funny, too, that you keep calling me Meghan. You know, it's Megan now.
I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
People were saying meh. It's not meh. It's pronounced me. The H is silent.
See, I didn't know who H was. At the time, I just loved his Insta feed.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
An apartment.
I thought we were moving forward, Meghan.
Well, we're not.
Dad, do you have any cash for a cab? Oh, look. Grandma's on the money. I never noticed that before.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Insiders say that Prince Harry is clearly terrified and bracing himself for more humiliation as a result of South Park reportedly preparing for a second round of brutal satire, this time focusing on Meghan's now famous pregnancy video. Prince Harry believed that the worst was behind them, but now South Park is supposedly getting ready for a second round of terrible satire.
In Toronto, Canada, and I didn't even really know the word royal. I mean, besides the Lord song. I love that song. It's an amazing pop rock
ballad. This was the first time that South Park made a joke about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, which has now become a famous spoof about their Globe Privacy Tour. Outrage, hilarity, and headlines were generated all around the world as a result of it. Harry, on the other hand, would be in for another surprise if he had assumed that the cartoon turmoil would be a one-time punchline. According to sources close to Harry, there are rumors going around that the producers of the show, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, are planning a brutal follow-up which will skewer Meghan's scandalous social media antics.
To start auditioning again.
You were on the very famous show Suits. More popular in the States than even Friends, you told us.
Yeah.
Build electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
From legal strategy meetings to tense phone calls with Hollywood pals, it has been stated that the terror that is taking place within Montecito is very real. If South Park's track record is any indication, the worst may still be to come. People who are close to the Duke have described the atmosphere as a mixture of dread and a sense of deja vu. Harry is said to be privately acknowledging that parody protections leave little room to block the broadcast, but he is still asking whether a preemptive complaint might at least soften the punch. According to a confidant, Harry has been rewatching the original episode in order to determine how much more difficult the new jab could land now that it targets Meghan's carefully curated empowerment brand. He is also said to be running scenarios with attorneys in both Los Angeles and London.
And something that you taught me is that when we break something and it's broken, it's not broken. It can be healed. There's even more beauty in the break. It still has value.
I'm so sorry, Meghan. You have a phone call. It's your father. Thomas Markle?
In the meantime, employees indicate that the generally calm schedule of Montecito has completely shifted into a crisis situation early in the morning, monitoring leak sites for storyboard excerpts and crafting contingency statements that condemn misogynistic humor without appearing thin-skinned are supposedly the primary activities that go place during Zooms. Every draft turns into a tug-of-war that is too harsh, and detractors will crow that the Sussexes can't handle a joke that is too mild, while supporters will accuse them of disregarding a sexist slander. It has been reported that royal courtiers who are still scarred from the couple's tell-alls are quietly amused, which is adding to Harry's sense of uneasiness. For Harry, who has been inching toward a fragile rapprochement with his father, seeing the firm chuckle from the sidelines, the pain that he dread the most is another cartoon drubbing. A source within the palace suggests that this may reinforce their long-held conviction that the Sussexes cannot outrun ridicule. You, Harry.
Of a Saturday Night Live joke. Let's have a look.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
An insider has stated that the tension that exists within Montecito is unlike any other catastrophe that has occurred in the past. This low-grade hum begins before morning and continues for a considerable amount of time after the Pacific sun has set. It is clear that Harry is rattled. According to the assertions of one member of the domestic staff, this parody poses a risk of reviving the scorn that he believed had finally subsided. This particular source claims that the Duke now sleeps with his phone set to vibrate, and that he wakes up at random hours to search encrypted group chats for new information regarding South Park's Christmas special. He apparently jumped out of bed about 3 in the morning. On the previous Wednesday, Harry wrote a single response to a friend who had sent him a hazy storyboard panel depicting a red-haired prince tinkering with a lighting setup while Meghan pushed a rubber baby bulge across a hospital set. The buddy's message read, "This obviously cannot be real." The individual then made 2 calls to London before morning in an attempt to seek reassurance from senior public relations professionals who had endured decades of royal lampooning. However, according to reports, the counsel from across the pond only served to increase his worry. It was brought to his attention by an experienced assistant that the royals cannot sue over satire without appearing to be petty. This individual pointed out that prior attempts to suppress parody had only served to boost viewership. Even if Meghan's legal team threatened Paramount, Trey Parker and Matt Stone would most likely read the letter on air in a subsequent episode, according to another counselor who pointed out that this likely would happen.
All right, and I do see you're in our database, but you didn't first get help at this Cumhammer location?
No, my wife went to one in California as a child.
Ah, okay, then you must be in the national system. Oh yeah, is this you? Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me.
Okay, I see. And then you added your husband to your friends and family account. You must be the Royal Prince Millionaire World Traveler victim.
Farewell, my friend. The implication struck a chord with me. It is possible that silence is the least damaging option. However, Harry feels that silence is the same as surrendering back at the compound. It has been reported that the Duke has begun pacing the garden lawn while listening to meditative playlists through his earbuds. He is also rehearsing potential talking points for an emergency sit-down interview. This could, in theory, reframe the narrative before South Park airs. Harry's confidants insist that he should either speak out and risk fueling the hype or remain silent and endure another global meme storm. During this time, Harry's assistants have constructed what is known as a digital moat. They have restricted his time on social media dashboards in order to prevent him from being obsessed with every new hashtag and Prince parody Guy F. Despite this, it is believed that he uses an iPad that is not in use to sneak peeks at trending pages. Every new joke that lands like a jab for a man who once walked behind his mother's coffin with stoic composure. It is the helplessness that hurts the most. Knowing that the punchline is locked in an animation studio, ticking toward broadcast, and there is nothing that a duke, a prince, or even a panicked father can do to stop it, is the thing that hurts the most. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are reportedly salivating over Meghan's viral pregnancy twerk reel because it offers everything South Park loves in a target, a head-spinning mix of sincerity, spectacle, and social media grandstanding, according to someone who's read an early table draft. The new segment. Working title, Respect. Our pregnancy opens on a quasi-Netflix set where a fictional Meghan rehearses dance moves. While production assistants adjust ring lights, the animated Harry hovers off camera with a clipboard, anxiously suggesting more empowerment between takes in classic South Park fashion. The creators aren't simply mocking a video. They're skewering the couple's whole aesthetic of curated authenticity, turning what Meghan pitched as a spontaneous celebration of motherhood into a meticulous, does it?
You know, seen as a traditional wife now rather than a grand humanitarian politico, Tom.
I mean, if she does, I mean, good on her. I can't,
I'm half winding you up. You must know that.
I know.
The writer's room is said to refer to the pregnancy bump as the pillow of truth, according to speculation. It is said that a flashing subtitle appears every time Meghan's cartoon bump jiggles. This is a staged moment that emphasizes the idea that nothing in their public lives is left to chance. Cartman Kennedy, the satirical studio head who was the first person to criticize Hollywood virtue projects, is depicted in one of the storyboard squares. He is seen saying, "Cue the tears, we need vulnerable sparkle," while bribing cameramen with oat milk lattes. It is really persistent. A shot-for-shot exaggeration of the leaked behind-the-scenes clips that Meghan never wanted the public to see, reimagined with the subtlety of a sledgehammer, according to some who are inside the company. The intricacy of the situation is Harry's worst nightmare. It is when satire mirrors whispers that you are already trying to hush that it has the most impact. Over the course of several months, he argued against allegations that the twerk video had been professionally lit. Just 2 expectant parents were taking pictures of their happiness on their phones. This defense is going to be completely destroyed by South Park, which is going to display lighting grids, call sheets, and even a fake intimacy coordinator calculating how far the bump may bounce until it becomes exploitative from an optics standpoint. Reportedly, the Duke is concerned that viewers will not be able to differentiate between cartoon fantasy and real-world gossip. People may begin to re-examine every personal moment from the Sussex family, as well as sequences from Netflix documentaries, Archie Well, picture drops, and even daytime talk show anecdotes about morning mayhem after they hear the concept that the pregnancy dance was manufactured and laugh at it. According to those with knowledge of the situation, Harry is tense because of this. Not only is the skit teasing a ridiculous clip, but it also threatens to indelibly define the couple's brand as one big performative rehearsal. Once that narrative becomes ingrained in popular culture, it is impossible for any amount of poignant podcasts or tastefully lit Instagram lives to remove it. One assistant describes the Montecito briefing room as a daylight war bunker. This room was once used for tidy Zoom check-ins, but it has since been transformed into a war bunker, social listening dashboards, South Park subreddit feeds, and a rotating dock with the caption, "Potential reaction paths version 17 variations of" are displayed on the screens.
They've ever twerked in my life.
You must have.
Really? I genuinely mean that. If there's any footage that ever comes out of me twerking, I'll pay for all your pints one night. How about that?
Meghan, she's an American celebrity, so I can kind of forgive her for it.
It's definitely her idea.
She's like, Prince Harry is a prince of the realm. You imagine the centuries of history and tradition in this country, the respectful organisations that he was or is an ambassador of, the military, and you're behaving like that and happy to release it in public. I mean, it's just so demeaning.
Yep, she's a narcissist.
Every meeting begins in the same manner for the staff members. When Harry initially appears, he is holding a cup of coffee and scrolling through his phone. As she follows closely behind, Meghan insists on receiving regular updates on what they have and how they obtained it. On the other hand, junior assistants mute their microphones and take angry notes while crisis public relations consultants telephone in from London and Los Angeles, swapping risk matrices. Legitimacy is the first item on the agenda. An attorney from Beverly Hills provides a comprehensive summary of the precedents, parody, and exemptions pertaining to fair use. When lawsuits are unsuccessful, Meghan is pushing. The emotional anguish that is associated with prenatal ridicule is a concern. When the attorney responds in a gentle manner that courts have agreed with satirists, even when cartoons depict childbirth, the room falls into an uncomfortable stillness. A junior publicist proposes a statement that condemns misogynistic humor and is written in a powerful and compelling manner. The argument of another person is that if the comedy is framed as anti-woman, it might potentially obscure Meghan's own feminist messaging. Some people will argue that she is using empowerment as a weapon in order to avoid ridicule. During this volley, Harry is sitting there tapping his pen till he finally blurts out, and we are haggling about punchlines as the rest of the world watches us wriggle. Following that is the media plan. There is a group that advocates for a preemptive television appearance, possibly on a morning show, where Harry and Meghan would laugh it off and then switch gears to talk about charity. However, there are many who are concerned that South Park would include any particular laughter into a subsequent episode. While animated filmmakers are yelling "cut again," imagine a cartoon version of Harry chuckling incessantly. The alternate option, in complete silence, terror is sparked by itself. A New York crisis coach advises that silence after anger may be interpreted as guilty, that a vacuum may promote memes, and that fiscal realities may interfere. Considering that Ever's cash flow won't be able to absorb that until autumn, the head of finance reminds everyone that paid influencer campaigns would cost in the middle of six figures. This is an idea to leak wholesome information. When someone brings up the fact that paparazzi will query why Archie and Lily never appear together in public, the family photos are put on hold without further consideration. The projector stops on a paused frame from the supposed storyboard cartoon as the discussion drags on past the 2-hour mark. This is captured during the meeting. During the middle of her twerk, Meghan is tinkering with a ring light. Everyone is silent. When Meghan finally closes her laptop with a faint click and says, "Figure out something that doesn't make things worse," the call comes to an end, leaving the advisors staring at blank screens and coming to the realization that something might not exist. The legal team representing Harry has combed through every nook and cranny of Anglo-American case law in search of a lever, any lever that may potentially remove South Park's parody from the timetable of their internal communication. According to a Montecito insider who only scanned it, it reads like a cemetery of hopes that were broken, but you are the same. You have not changed. That is...
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please,
The first tactic, claiming defamation, collapsed when counsel acknowledged the pregnancy dance clip sits on Meghan's own social feed. You can't libel someone by exaggerating a video they published themselves. Notes, one sardonic paragraph a second. Gambit, invoking UK privacy standards, dies on the next page. Paramount operates under US law, California. Juries trust parody more than princes. Undeterred, a junior associate floated the idea of leaning on royal protocol. Could the palace as fount of honor object to a false portrayal of a duke in official title? The answer came back blistering once Harry stepped away from working royal status. Any ceremonial shield became largely symbolic. Besides, even active royals seldom sue for satire. The Windsor file on comic mockery is a dusty drawer of resignation letters, not injunctions. The memo cites a forgotten 90s case where a tabloid cartoon showed the Queen tap dancing on corgis. Buckingham grumbled but never litigated. If Elizabeth II endured cartoon corgis side, the note implies California courts will expect Sussex stoicism over an animated pillow bump. Someone then suggested a child protection angle could referencing an unborn baby constitute harassment of a minor. Counsel replied that U.S. precedent protects commentary on public pregnancy announcements, however tasteless. In a margin scrawl, a senior partner added fair use plus First Amendment equals fortress. The phrase has since become gallows humor among staff. Montague, you later in the fortress. They joke when signing off late-night emails with courtrooms closed. Advisors turned their gaze to the palace. Perhaps they mused a discreet word from King Charles could persuade Paramount to tone down royal elements. But palace insiders, according to Harry's London solicitor, view the new parody as Sussex fallout. They have no duty to address.
Hey, I love your Luke.
Sorry, what's that?
Your Luke. You look amazing. Your Luke.
My Luke. My
Luke. My look. She likes my...
It is said that one of the courtiers sniffed, "If the Duke sells candles of his family trauma, then he must endure caricature." It is translated, "There is no way that Windsor will use his goodwill to protect an ex-royal from a joke that originates directly from the substance of his own family." In plain English, the legal report concludes with a single gloomy sentence that recommends reputational mitigation rather than prohibition. This literally means that the crisis public relations guides need to be dusted off because the law is unable to pull the plug. In the beginning, Harry's first instinct was to rally every friendly contact in Los Angeles, including producers he had met at Netflix, mixers, studio heads who had once flirted with Invictus documentaries, and even the odd-a-list neighbor who occasionally waves across Montecito hedges. By the middle of the week, his phone log looked like a casting sheet. A prominent showrunner, a streaming platform, a former vice president of Marvel, and a former publicist for a studio, the ask was never made explicit. Although there is no one who can force Trey and Matt to do anything, according to sources, Harry's tone conveyed an unmistakable appeal if you have any influence at Paramount. Would it be possible for you to at least figure out how brutal this is going to be? In response, there was a spectrum of responses, from awkward honesty to supportive quiet. According to reports, a director friend of South Park's cautioned that the show lives on reaction from the business. Any kind of lobbying that took place behind the scenes would be leaked, turned into a comedy, and would make the humiliation last longer. Harry was informed by a former host of a late-night show that the cartoon makers were comedic untouchables, that they were Hollywood's uncancelable jesters. Therefore, relying on studio favors was like to spritzing lighter fluid on a fire. It was even a neighbor from Montecito who was nice, a well-known actress who had previously publicly lauded Meghan, who suggested that Harry should brace himself for impact rather than chase. Due to the fact that favors are unlikely to materialize, a little campaign began to take shape. The notion of a cameo swap by Harry for an emotional veterans piece on a major morning show, in exchange for cutting the most cruel Cartman-Kennedy lines, was proposed by associates in public relations. The executives in charge of marketing smiled pleasantly and then changed the subject. Another strategist advised that Harry's impending mental health summit be utilized to their advantage. In spite of the fact that Paramount conducts charitable efforts, the legal department of the network has subtly communicated that editorial independence is more important than goodwill programs.
It's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard.
While this was going on, Meghan's circle attempted to reach out to lifestyle influencers that she had previously courted by offering them a free product called Ask. The Ask post contained preparatory messaging about body positivity, which framed the parody as tired misogyny. Due to the fact that alienating South Park's massive meme army is detrimental to engagement, some influencers were hesitant. Others asked for sums in the 5-figure range. It was gently denied by Meghan because she could not afford to hire a wellness coach who is much regarded. While I am telling a friend that I adore Meg, the internet is currently in a roast mode. I am not going to put myself in that line of fire. As the week came to a close, Harry's outreach efforts had resulted in a significant amount of empathy but little leverage. The entertainment industry may feel compassion for a prince who is upset, but this should not come at the expense of a rating slam dunk. According to a text message sent by a seasoned agent to a colleague, this community values hard work. As of right now, South Park's hustle is superior to theirs. The Buckingham courtiers are reportedly keeping a close eye on the impending incident with a sick interest that is equal parts schadenfreude and strategic concern. According to rumors that are making their way back to London, an assistant asserts that when rumors of the new parody hit the private secretary's inbox, the note was forwarded with a single sarcastic comment that warned the recipient to brace themselves for headlines. However, there was no interference in the matter, which indicates that the palace public relations machine will allow the Sussexes to fight this battle on their own. For Harry, the official shrug lands like a fresh bruise. He has been inching toward reconciliation, a brief father-son visit at Clarence House, tentative talks about a Commonwealth charity tie, and courtiers now fear a second time. According to reports, the communications team of the monarch has agreed on a standing line that states there will be no comment on satirical programming. Press officers have also been instructed to deflect every inquiry for Harry. A South Park parody has the potential to bring that progress back to zero. This is not to say that the king is averse to mockery. It is because another wave of caricature runs the possibility of turning the family's next public appearance, which could be anything like a balcony on Remembrance Day, into material for memes. One person who follows the royal family believes that Charles will not put solemn engagements in jeopardy by sharing the stage with a son that has recently been ridiculed by cartoons. Palace procedure can absorb many embarrassments, but it cannot tolerate recurrent slapstick that is broadcast on global streaming platforms. It is common knowledge that William's circle has discreetly resigned. An insider's whisper from the Prince of Wales believes that the impending incident is an inevitable result from a lifestyle that is commercialized by the media. These are
now an international embarrassment for the royal family, and I really, really do think that the time has come to strip the title.
In a private conversation with a top assistant, William expressed his belief that if Harry continues to feed the beast would continue to consume food. In other words, there is a lack of sympathy, but there is also a sense of practical fear. Because audiences all across the world tend to confuse the entire House of Windsor with whichever royal is currently popular, every insult directed at Meghan will inevitably be retaliated on the Windsors. The staff at the palace has already begun crafting the contingency queue. And with regard to the foreign correspondence, why is it that the monarch cannot intervene? Whether the monarch continues to support Harry's patronages, do Archie and Lilibet have any impact on the situation? It is necessary to prepare oneself for stillness. In addition to this, there is a campaign suggesting that certain Tory MPs take pleasure in another caricature of Sussex. They believe that it dampens the feelings of Republicans by portraying those who criticize the monarchy as celebrity opportunists. If lawmakers laugh while the Duke of Windsor chafes, they believe that this will make the politics within Windsor even more complicated. Already clearly shaken, Harry comes to the realization that each South Park joke makes the chasm that he is attempting to bridge back to his family even wider. A single line is all that is needed to characterize his current situation. The louder the cartoon laughs, the more subdued the behavior of royal phones becomes the moment gossip websites are made public. Within a matter of hours, the internet was divided into many ethnic factions due to South Park's pregnancy parody angle. Hashtag Prince spoof skyrocketed X's worldwide chart. Images of cartoon Harry stumbling with a ring light mixed over actual stills from his Netflix doc. A counter hashtag popped up just as quickly. There was a lot of controversy surrounding the hashtag. Keep Harry Alone is a hashtag that has been launched by supporters of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex who believe that making fun of an expectant father is cruel. Because of that hashtag joust, the timeline became a battlefield for trench warfare. One of the most popular panels displayed a side-by-side comparison of animations of Harry Solom attending a veterans banquet and an imagined South Park prince stumbling over cables, all while Meghan's animated bump jiggled without stopping. TikTok added more content. Creators of comedic content fabricated behind-the-scenes film of themselves while acting as if they were in a race against time. While Pass counted Meghan's twerks, Cartman Kennedy howled for more empowerment among the audience. As each new duet was performed, the clip template spread like a dance challenge, resetting the countdown clock on Harry's embarrassment. You have
lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy.
Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid and then so are like jerks.
Prior to the release of even a single official promotional video, social analytics companies had already racked up more than 100 million impressions associated with the suspected episode by the middle of the week. The kind of organic rise typically causes studios to spend 7 figures on advertising buys, according to veterans of digital agencies. With the help of royal concern that was leaked into online, South Park was able to get away with it. The rapidity with which conspiracy subforums become weaponized is a source of greater concern for Montecito strategists. Every old suspicion was brought back to life by the conversation threads, from the pillow bump theory to the doctored birth certificate claims that are now being repackaged as evidence that the pregnancy spoof is basically going to be documentary. Every post creates a new rabbit hole, and Harry's name is trending alongside phrases like royal fraud and brand meltdown. Commenters splice Meghan's real-life reel with grainy paparazzi shots and overlay text that reads staged. Even parenting influencers who are neutral are dragged into duets, and they are forced to take sides under the threat of being ratioed. There is a social listening snippet that was posted in Meghan's PR Slack that shows sentiment slipping positive chatter about her empowerment narrative down 14% neutral curiosity, converting into mockery after each meme cycle. Meanwhile, Instagram fan pages that once curated Sussex positivity are now adopting a cautious distance, limiting comments, and disabling story replies. They are waiting to see which way the backlash wind blows. The algorithms that reward momentum are known to crisis advisors. The difficulty lies in putting a stop to a laugh spiral without really feeding it. However, as a data strategist cautions Harry in an email sent at midnight, every hashtag that you battle will quadruple the reach of the hashtag. The only thing that can change at this point is the volume of the punchline when the program is finally broadcast. Competitors in the field of crisis management often remark that reputations can bleed in 2 different ways, either through slow leaks or through single punctures. Harry is confronted with both at the same time. It has been stated that Invictus sponsors who are already anxious following the most recent South Park hit are requesting new assurances in terms of tone of voice. There is a European apparel partner that has quietly requested that its logo be displayed only on the backdrops of the event and not on the singlets of the athletes until the post-broadcast sentiment has the opportunity to calm. It has been reported that a California tech donor who was approached to provide funding for the next mental health summit has delayed signatures out of concern that screenshots of a cartoon Harry could distract from the serious wellness branding of the organization. Despite the fact that Meghan is still as vulnerable as she was before, the picture becomes clearer.
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist?
Any type of flower arranging is just telling a story. What story do you want to tell? Maybe leave the country. Maybe disown your dad. Be creative.
Every punchline threatens multiple revenue streams, not just personal pride. Advisors sketch 2 redemption pathways. Path 1, lean into humility. Allow the episode to air, then release a brief, lightly self-deprecating video. Harry and Meghan strolling a beach, laughing that parenthood makes us all targets before pivoting to Invictus heroes, or literacy drives the argument. Relatability diffuses satire. If Harry shows he can chuckle at an animated version of himself, corporate partners may applaud the resilience and stick around. Critics might still poke fun, but the story shifts from fragile royals humiliated to public figures unfazed. Path 2, transform ridicule into purpose. Wait 48 hours, then launch a campaign spotlighting online harassment of new parents. Frame the parody as a teachable moment on empathy. Invite child health NGOs to co-sign and donate ad revenue from the pregnancy video to maternal care charities. In theory, this flips laughter into legacy. Sponsors get cause marketing, Meghan's empowerment brand regains moral footing, and Harry appears as protector rather than punchline. The risk audiences smell opportunism. If timing feels too strategic, #mocktivism accusations could trend harder than the original memes beneath the PowerPoint. Optimism, a harsher reality lurks. There's no fixing perception if South Park's segment lands a cultural catchphrase, some quick, brutal line that sticks to Harry like gum on a boot. Once a meme calcifies, brands shy away regardless of charity tie-ins. A veteran reputation broker told a Sussex aide after privacy tour, "You had wiggle room, a second hit that's concrete." Harry knows it. Every brainstorming session circles back to the same dread if the cartoon crowns him, clueless prince forever. Redemption arcs become uphill marathons. Each sponsorship pitch starting with a nervous laugh and a promise that this time, nobody's twerking under studio lights. South Park's animators have already locked the reel. Paramount's promo clock is counting down. Meme engines are primed to detonate the instant the closing credits roll. All Harry can do now is choose how or whether to step into the blast. If he gambles on a humble grin and lets the joke ride, he risks cementing the image of a once earnest prince reduced to comic relief. If he rallies a moral crusade, every headline will scream that he and Meghan still can't take a joke, and if he hides until the noise subsides, silence itself becomes proof that the Duchess's dance really was more stagecraft than spontaneity. In other words, every door creaks louder than the last. Meanwhile, Palisades take quiet bets on how many days it will take before the Windsor news cycle. Care home visits, Commonwealth trade pitch is hijacked by a looping gif of cartoon Harry fumbling with a fake bump. Corporate partners, I risk matrices. Is the Sussex brand still aspirational, or has it slipped into perpetual punchline territory? Even friendly Hollywood neighbors who once raved about Meghan's loveliness weigh whether a public show of support could backfire into their own Twitter pile. On one veteran agent sums it up in studio shorthand. The cost of association just went up. The upside stayed flat. So the stage is set: a Colorado animation house versus a California compound, free speech satire squaring off against reputation management. In a matter of weeks, viewers will decide whether this episode is merely another laugh in the pop culture churn or the moment Harry and Meghan's carefully tended narrative tilts into permanent caricature. When the laughter dies down, sponsors will run the numbers. Palace courtiers will update their talking points, and the Duke will have to wake up to whatever version of himself the internet decides is canon. Now the question lands with you. Should Harry meet the mockery head-on with a dose of self-deprecating humility, or would any reaction just pour jet fuel on South Park's fire? And beyond the Sussex saga, where do you draw the line between fair parody and punching down, especially when parenthood enters the frame? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like if you're here for every inside twist, and make sure you're subscribed. The next deep dive is already in production, and trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.